Written by Nick Lowe, sung by Elvis Costello. There is a version of Nick Lowe doing What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ferg. I am the advisor to the wonderful top 20 Princeton reviewed college radio stations in America. Woo! Yeah! I don't know what that means, but it means something to someone. We all kind of, at least I giggled. I'm like, wow, I finally got attached to Princeton. It finally happened. I got attached. But today is College Radio Day, which means we are celebrating all the great things and the beauty of what is called college radio. And as probably the best example of WMCX, we threw this together about 10 minutes ago. Yeah. And in fact, we're throwing it together as we speak. And if that's not college radio, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what is by any means. So the theme this year, believe it or not, shockingly enough, is peace. And I have put together a crack staff of peace lovers, peacekeepers, peacemakers. I'm running out of other peace things. Peace. And we are here. We're just going to start and just kind of try to figure out, right? So the goal, I guess, of this event, right? So there's going to be across America, college radio stations having conversations about peace. And in fact, one of the stations will be from Ukraine. So that's kind of cool. And they'll be talking about their experience with peace. And I guess what is the worst question to give to you guys is, how are you going to fix what my generation screwed up? How are you guys? Do you have any idea of how we might come to some kind of peace in the world? The answer, by the way, is there is no answer.
There's just no answer.
Right? there is no answer at all. But so I guess, what do you think's keeping us from peace?
Karens.
What's that?
Karens.
Karens?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's a good thought. Social media has completely changed how communities, try that word again, how humans communicate. So do we need to get rid of all social media then?
I think it's too far past the point where you probably could do that, because it's such a vital...
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it's just too past the point where you could get past social media.
It's become such a part of who you guys are that...
Yeah. I'm literally taking a social media course right now. So,
Okay.
we're learning how to use social media and make that part of our daily life, pretty much. For
Really?
businesses and everything.
Yeah, be a brand.
Yeah.
So can a brand become peace?
Oh.
I think so. If you try hard enough, I think you can.
So when I was in college, when we had a fight in the house, we had boxing gloves. And we went and got a boxing bell. And whenever somebody wanted to yell at somebody else in the house, we said, all right, get in the ring. And we would make a ring and put on boxing gloves and literally beat the crap out of one another. And then at the end, you'd laugh, grab a beer, and that was the end of it. Did it work? No. But it was still an attempt at peace. So can you use anything in the world to make peace, make everybody understand one another, or probably more importantly, at least respect everybody's point of view? Can that happen?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think people are just too sensitive. So everyone's going to be offended by something that you do.
Yeah. And people just aren't open-minded enough.
Yeah, why is it that you guys have the ability to have access to everything, yet people want to shut that down and say no?
I think because a lot of times people tend to go into their own rabbit hole almost, and then they just never get back out of it and see everything else around. So it's hard to climb back out of that and just see everything else.
Yeah, that rabbit hole is tricky, right? So we all get we all believe everybody else's point of view. Listen, my generation screwed this all up. If you really want to blame somebody before my generation, right? So it's not Gen X, it's the baby boomers, and the baby boomers screwed up, and the baby boomers will pass it down to the next generation. which will suggest if we could never come to peace, how do we come to where we are a functioning society?
Oh.
I don't know.
And then
That's a-
silencing somebody.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's got to be something. I mean, it's ironic that it's 420. Maybe that would be something that would help us all be a
Perfect
functioning
timing.
society. I mean, not that I know anything about 420.
No.
But I mean, so that could be, right? Everybody just needs to mellow out.
Yeah.
You tell
Maybe.
her.
I mean, it's just difficult because everyone just is always wanting to get their voice heard, and they always just try to prove themselves right. I feel like they don't. A lot of times, people just don't understand to just let things go.
Yeah, there definitely seems to be a whole bunch of holding up a lot of things that should just kind of be forgotten about, for sure. Right? So social media helps that because everything's kept, right? It's all there for everyone to take a look at. By the end of this session, you have to come up with a 4-point plan of how we're going to get peace.
This isn't
that's-
our job.
No, that's the requirement of College Radio Day. We have been tasked by the federal government to come up with a 4-point plan, not 5, a 4-point plan.
Not 3.
So far we have Karen. No more Karens. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So what's going to be our second point of peace? Oh, we already know 420.
420.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
100%.
So what's going to be our third point of peace?
I would say communication.
Communication
Yeah.
in real person-to-person form.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
So
way.
you can see raw reactions.
Imagine that.
It's rare, but it could happen.
It can happen. You can be part of the solution. I think that's what they say in those public services announcements. Okay, so we got a serious one, communication. What's number 4? Bombs?
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, that
know,
seems to be the way,
last resort.
unfortunately. I mean, what could be the 4th one? I'll play the
It's
Jeopardy
tough.
song. Do, 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 do,
Um,
do, 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 do.
Can
And
we
we're
just
gonna put
list
you on the spot.
420 again?
What's that?
Can you just list 420 again?
You could, right? I mean, it's amazing to me that like we could even talk about 420 nowadays. Right? I mean, it's crazy, for sure. Right? But I think by not having an answer to point number 4 that I just came up with randomly, is the idea that it probably is difficult. I mean, it's sad that we can't all just get along, or your old man professor would argue, just respect everybody's differences and move on with your day instead of obsessing about them. That's the part that boggles my mind. That you'll throw something on social media, but would you go to their house, knock on their door, and go, "This is what I believe. This 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 is what I believe." And they go to your next neighbor friend's house. "Hey, I believe this. I believe this. I believe this. Here's a picture of me. Believe this. Believe this picture of me. Believe this. Isn't this funny? Funny, funny." I mean, who would do that kind of thing? So maybe start thinking that way. You wouldn't knock on your neighbor's door and go, what am I having for dinner tonight? Chimichangas. I just decided that's what I'm having for dinner. Chimichangas. I'm having a talk outside of my head to all of you. Chimichangas today. I'm going to knock on my neighbor's door when I pull in my driveway and go, "Just wanted you to know I'm going to be eating chimichangas. I'll be posting them on my social media so that you can see them, but I wanted to give you first dibs to know what I'm eating." And maybe if we didn't do that, and maybe we thought about who we may be offending, I guess, I'm the worst person to talk about offending people. But, I don't know. But you guys are going to have to solve it. And guess what? You're never going to be able to solve it.
and then we pass it down to the next generation.
Yeah, exactly.
All you have to do is make sure you have like 5 hits of where you've tried to do something. And then you go, "Hey, listen, I tried. What can I tell you? I'm a C student. Leave me alone." Leave me alone. I'm a C student. All right. Well, we're going to play some more music. This is the anniversary. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's got a theme about peace. It works perfectly. Peace, pain, and that dreaded regret. Thank you, guys.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to WMCX 88.9. We are the e-board for the X. Everybody say hello.
Hello.
So today we're celebrating College Radio Day. The theme is peace. So we were having a nice peaceful conversation before. So now we're just going to go around and we're all going to share our favorite college radio memories. So who wants to start? Anybody want to start?
I'll start because mine's like kind of crazy. So I'm Lauren, just to give a name to a voice, pretty much.
What do you do here at the X, Lauren?
I am the program director here,
Wow,
Megan, just
look
to
at
let
you
you all
go.
know. I've been here on the e-board for 2 years now, and so, I've met some familiar faces. We have some new faces here this year. And so last year I met Megan, who's right here next to me, who is the social media director. Spoiler alert.
Oh, I couldn't even introduce myself?
I'm so sorry, Megan. I'm so sorry. So we met last year when we were both on the e-board. We were both like the new kids.
Yeah.
So we were both kind of going to these meetings. We're like, what are we doing?
Also,
kind of thing.
right away we found out we both like AJR and we both like the Devils. So we
Yeah.
were like connecting right away.
We had a lot of weird similarities.
Uh-huh.
And we were just like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So then in, I believe it was March, we were talking about, I think, St. Patrick's Day and stuff. And I think we were both like mentioned that we were Irish. And so
Yeah.
somehow in the conversation, we both found out that we have the last name of Maroney in our blood. We were like, oh, Maroney's like pretty common. Like that's pretty normal. Like, that's cool. And so what happened, I'm going to kind of make this as short as I possibly can. Long story short, I was at my one cousin's house, and they're kind of distant from me, but we've like talked to them like our whole life. So they're pretty close cousins with me. So my one cousin got a call from our other cousin, I guess, and that cousin on the phone was like, oh, we're having a family reunion. And she's like, oh, okay, and I'm in the house with her, so that's when I found out. And so I found out this guy's name was Charlie, who she was talking to, and I had heard of him before, and I knew he was like a distant cousin, but I didn't think anything of it. And so on the phone, my one cousin who was talking to Charlie was, I'm sorry if this is like really confusing, I'm trying to make it as clear as possible and as fast as possible. Charlie told my one cousin that he had 3 granddaughters and one of them went to Monmouth University and was a junior. And I was like, oh, wow, that is so crazy. I have this like mystery cousin and I have no idea who she is. Like I have to like put out a search party for her. I need to figure out who this is because I know I have a huge family on that side and I want to know who it is. And so about a month or 2 later, I got a call from my great uncle, and he's like, hey, Lauren. And I'm like, hey, Uncle Joe, like, what's up? I haven't talked to you in a while. He's like, oh, yeah, pretty good. Do you know Megan Moritz? I'm like, yeah, I know Megan Moritz. Like, we're in the e-board together and everything. He's like, oh, she's your cousin. And I'm like, no way. And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I'm probably screaming with the dramatic emphasis that I have in my life. So yeah, that's how I found out that I was cousins with Megan. And that was my favorite college radio memory because, hey, without the radio, I don't even think I would know that Megan's my cousin right now. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
I mean, we didn't even know we were related going into radio and then figured it out halfway through.
Yeah, which is crazy. And
that
it's like,
same night, I got a call from Charlie, who's my grandpa, and he was like, do you know a Lauren Andrush? I'm like, yeah, how do you? He's like, she's your cousin. I'm like, what? What? Since when?
And the funny thing is, neither of us went to that reunion.
Yeah,
So
neither of us even showed up. So,
yeah, that's our kind of crazy college memory.
Who's
Everyone
next?
else can go. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'll go.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Jack. I'm the sports director here. So I'm in charge of the sports broadcasts and setting those up with the athletics department and everything that goes about that. Also, for those of you listening, October 21st, 6 o'clock, please tune in. We have our own homecoming show for the football game, so that'll be a lot of fun. Make sure to get Coach Cal on for that as well. But I would have to say my favorite moment of college radio would probably be my first ever football game I called. It was my freshman year, and it was a playoff game, so there was like a little bit more adrenaline, and obviously my first game I was a little overwhelmed, but got through it pretty well, and ever since that I loved calling games. Another good one too is my sophomore year with basketball. We had COVID, so it was a lot different than what it normally is with on press row and everything. We were up high on the track, and having to kind of adjust myself to the new situation we all found ourselves in was definitely a challenge, but I enjoyed it at the same time because it made me get better at that. And obviously just coming in to the studio, talking, about mostly sports with all my friends. Always love doing that.
Nice. And he's good with his sports. I'll just throw that compliment in there. He's
Thank
pretty
you.
cool.
Thank you. You've had a lot more experience with that than you probably thought you would have started there.
Yeah, Jack has taught me a lot about sports, and we have like the same internship right now, so he's taught me a lot. So Jack's pretty cool. I'll throw that in there.
I like the promo to the game for the homecoming. Always gotta throw in that self promo.
Yeah, always gotta put that out there.
Shameless plug.
Exactly.
Love it.
Anyone else? Me? Yeah. Okay. Well, as Lauren already introduced me, I'm Megan, the social media director. I don't know if I have a favorite specific memory. I've messed up a lot in my intro shows, but just my favorite show has been with Jude, who's also here. I'm not gonna give too much away about her. I'll let her introduce herself. But right now we have a show, Books for Breakfast. We started it last semester. It's a talk radio show, and I was going into it, I was like, what am I going to talk about? I don't read. I feel like this is going to be boring for me, honestly. Not to bash it at all, but because I don't read, I wouldn't know what to say. But honestly, it's the most fun thing ever. We don't even talk about books on it a lot. We just go off on tangents. But Jude and our other co-host Jess and we have a lot of fun every morning. We get up for that, and it's a lot of high energy for early in the morning, but it's fun. So who's next?
I think it's only appropriate if I introduce myself next. I'm Jude. I am the webmaster here. So basically, I take care of the website, update it when it needs to be updated. And Megan just stole my favorite college radio moment.
Sorry.
I have two, though. My number one favorite is genuinely meeting all of you because I feel like I have friends for life now. And my second one is the show. It's my favorite show ever. I don't think I would have ever... I was always so nervous being on air, but then when I met Megan and Jess and we decided to have the show together, I didn't expect it to be the best thing in my life right now. So that's my favorite college radio memory.
No. Hers was more heartfelt than mine.
Yeah,
I was
she's
the
sweetest person.
It's fun. Yeah.
I guess I'll do mine next. Mine's kind of similar. So I have two. I've been doing a show called Magic Hour every Friday, 4 to 6, technically now. I've been doing that since I want to say a year now, I guess. Yeah. I do it with one of my best friends, Jenna. I met her coming to Monmouth. So it used to be a show with Hawk TV, but then we kind of morphed it into a radio show. And yeah, it's just a really fun time getting to play all of our cool music, and it's just fun. It's a nice time. But I think my all-time favorite, though, no offense to Jenna and anyone who listens to Magic Hour, but I think my all-time favorite was doing That's the Spirit for our talk radio class. Me, Jenna, and our other friend Steve, we all did a radio show that was dedicated to Studio Ghibli films. And that was honestly the most fun because we would just spend every week watching a Studio Ghibli movie and then just critiquing the hell out of it for an hour. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But one time we did an episode and it was on Kiki's Delivery Service, and there's a song that plays in the beginning of the movie, and it's a 50s Japanese doo-wop song, and we tried playing it on the air and we could hear it on the headphones, but for whatever reason, you couldn't hear it on the radio or anywhere else in the recording. So and we played the whole song. So it's 3 minutes of us just giggling to dead air. And it's the most embarrassing thing ever because when Professor Messina went to play it, he was like, what is going on? So
that is the best college radio ever. When there's giggling.
Yeah, I think that was probably my favorite memory. It was just the craziest morning, but yeah, so. But yeah, so any more memories or?
Sarah, do you have one?
Okay. I'm Sarah. I'm the PR director. I guess my favorite memory so far would have to be when I shadowed Lauren because I was too nervous to come into the studio for the first time by myself. And yeah, her company was just great. And now every time I come in, I have to like remember everything she taught me that first day. So I always think of you when I'm in here.
Aw, thank you.
That's
That is
nice
too
though,
sweet.
because a lot of us just get thrown in here and we have no idea what we're doing.
It's true.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I think a fun topic would be like times we've messed up on the air.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I feel like we all have a lot.
I have a video of one. I like literally, you can see me freaking out pressing the buttons. And I just smack my face. I'm like, oh my God. I just stand there. I'm like, what did I just do?
There was this one time for me, I had a talk radio show and I was with 2 other girls. And so we were just starting the show and I had played the intro and everything. And I pressed mic 1, which was the mic that I was behind at the time. And I press it, and all of a sudden, you hear there were 2 girls next to us filming a podcast in the podcasting room. And so all of a sudden, we just hear like them talking about like guys and just like when they were at like a nightclub the night before. And I was like, oh my God. And I freaked out. And the same as Megan, I just pressed all these buttons. And I just, once I knew like everything was okay, I just sat back and I was like, whoa. And so I literally sprinted out of this room, ran downstairs to Reicher. And I was like, I need help, because I needed to get this show on the air. We were already like 20 minutes late. So he came in, he fixed it. It was literally, you just pressed a button and that would fix it. That's what Reicher does. He fixes all my problems for me. So, but yeah, that was a big mess up for me, which I think was actually really funny.
I have a couple. So first one I'm going to say was actually with Ferg last year when we had X Fest that not a single band showed up to.
Oh my God.
And
One of the golden moments.
and we were in the on-air studio trying to figure out every single microphone that was working, that wasn't working, trying to replace every cord. And yep, raise your hands, a thumbs up or thumbs down. We were in and out of here and the on-air studio for a while. You were underneath the tables in there.
It was the greatest workout I got in years.
So that one's definitely up there.
For no bands, too.
For no bands, which made it even that much better. At some point, I think we both realized, like, there's just no reason why
I
we're
was
doing
looking
this.
around for a camera that was just screwing with us. We were on somewhere, some TikTok channel.
And then another one similar to Lauren's. We were in here trying to go on air for our talk radio class, and I was behind the board and everything. You know, normal buttons are on, faders are up and everything, and we start talking. Don't hear ourselves through the headphones. We're like, this isn't good. So, put music on. Luckily, very luckily, Reicher was in there. I just go there, see him touch like 20 different buttons, and I'm like, I have no idea how you understand any of that. And then we were somehow good to go. But yeah, that's another, credit to him. He just knows exactly what every single thing does in the studio, and got to give him credit for it.
He's the radio god.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's a wizard.
No offense, Ferg.
Right, that's fine. No offense whatsoever. Can I tell you my favorite college radio story?
Of course.
My favorite college radio story, ladies and gentlemen, involves a student. A student who used to steal my lunch. So I had an e-board member. We'll call him Josh. That's his real name, Josh. And Josh would take my lunch from the refrigerator, which was in the e-board office in WMCX, and then he would go a step further. While I was in class, he'd make a poster. And Josh had this theory that I looked like one of the characters from the TV show Lost. So it would be this guy, I think it's still up in there. There's a guy from the Lost, and then it says, "Have you seen Ferg's lunch?" And then you would put them all over WMCX while I was in class, and I would come out of class and I would see the posters, and then I would write on them, "Watch Josh's grades drop to an F. See Ferg." So he kept doing this, and it was this ongoing joke, and I was like, all right, well, Josh, I'm going to get you back. And he's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. So all fall, he kept doing this, and, I'd find my lunch, and ha, ha, ha. And then February came around, and I was just waiting for the moment. And Josh told me one day, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to be in the morning because I'm going out with a bunch of friends. We're going to be doing a lot of illegal substances. And I said to Josh, if you're not here at 8:30 in the morning, you're failing. I don't care what you're doing. You're getting here at 8:30. So next day, I sat in the interview room. In the interview room, ladies and gentlemen, there's an intercom system, which means as long as you are at that board and have headphones on, I can talk to you from in there. So I laid down on the ground and waited for Josh to come in and do his show at 8:30, a talk radio class, by himself, because, again, I knew his partners weren't going to be here. And I just kept doing this. Josh. Josh. And I set up a mirror so I could look in and see his reaction because that wasn't there. So for those who can't see, because none of you can, there's a big monitor there. So you could see the person if I laid correctly. And I just kept going, it's God, Josh. It's God. And now I'm looking in the mirror and Josh is taking off his headphones. He's looking around. He's rubbing his eyes. Josh. And I kept doing it. And then I went, and I'd go, and he's freaking out. So finally I'm like, Josh, don't ever take Ferg's lunch again, or I will fail you and kill you. And then I popped up. He's like, like, my lunch was never taken again.
Yeah.
It was a classic. It was very funny. I enjoyed it. I screwed around with students, so now I'm going to be fired. So thank you. It's been wonderful having you all. Enjoy the rest of College Radio Day. I'm now going to exit stage left.
That's hilarious. I never heard that story.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of Ferg stories, but never that one.
Yeah, so I went and, so the great thing about you guys is that you get to graduate and then we all get to hang out, like outside of school. So lots of times when I go and travel, I meet up with alums wherever they're living. Then they happen to be, a bunch of them happen to all be in Chicago for a big event, and I happen to be in Chicago. So we went out for a night, and Josh got me back by like 20 shots of whatever. It was still fun.
Wow.
You know, well, I see him every once in a while. We talk every once in a while. Then I go, Josh. It's so funny. I'm like, yeah, it was funny.
It's in
My
his
lunch was never
nightmares.
stolen again.
Yeah, you have a point.
That's all that mattered.
Wow. Go off, Ferg.
I think I have a radio mess up to share. I think it was one of the first shows back for the spring semester, last semester for Magic Hour. And me and Jenna came in here. We're ready to go at 6 o'clock because that was our old time slot. And we come in here. I hook up my laptop. I start playing music. I'm like, okay, we'll go on in a few minutes. And we're in the middle of playing music, and all of a sudden, a sports game was being done on the radio, and we didn't know. We had no idea. So all of a sudden, you're hearing like techno, pop, 80s music, whatever, and then all of a sudden, you're hearing like a basketball game being called. So I freaked out, and I just unplugged my laptop. I didn't know what to do, so I'm like, okay, so we're just gonna back out of here very slowly and never come back. So yeah,
You
sorry.
were the mystery people.
Sorry, Jag.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Wait, that's what that. Wait, you know what? You know what happened?
I think. I forget who was supposed to be here.
Yeah, this room was
That's so
empty. There
college
was.
radio.
There was
I forget who was supposed to be. Someone was. It wasn't supposed to be me. It wasn't supposed to be me, but I forget who it was. Someone was supposed to be here, and I think I was calling.
You used to have to set it up, and then you'd run over there.
Yeah, that happened a couple times too, but I forget who was supposed to be here. I think I was calling that game. I think,
yeah, because I think I heard your voice and I was
Yeah,
like,
I think I was calling that game.
This is
and
awkward.
I think I got a text from either you or Jenna, and I was like,
Yeah,
huh.
no, I think Jenna texted
Yeah,
you and was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
sorry about that. Because we didn't know.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
The
God.
best would have been if you started arguing with them. Get off my airwaves. I don't know who you are.
Oh, I remember another good one now. Speaking of that, there was a game I was supposed to call, and the Latina show or Spanish show was here, and did not want to leave the studio. I do remember that. Forgot about that. That was my
Spilled the
freshman
tea.
year.
Controversy.
Yeah.
Territorial.
Yeah, it was.
Peace. Remember?
Peace. You always remember peace.
Yeah,
Peace here.
not going along with the theme.
No, definitely not.
Josh and I are peaceful together. There's love. Hugging it out.
Peace and love.
Well, I guess that wraps up this little bit. So thanks to everybody for listening to College Radio Day. We still have...
should we get out of Anne's show?
Yeah, we have another hour, and I think we're going to have Magic Hour take over.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thanks for listening. Keep the peace, I guess, and we'll see you in a little bit.